The present era is a digital era, and the future is more digital. So the point is what you can do to become a safe user of this particular digital platform and media era. So when we are welcoming this particular digital and mega digital era in future, then what are some of the realities those are going to come in future? So first and the foremost is Internet of Things. IoT is going to become a reality soon, or if not sooner, then at least later, it is going to become a reality. And you have to have read some of the things that are very much necessary for as a precautions or might be in terms of defense, you should have at your side to counter the possible threats and attacks in IoT devices and in IoT era. So let me tell you some of the related things and the kind of possible threats against IoT devices so that you can at least deal with them in future. So it is a pie chart. Here you can see that there are number of possible exploits that can take place in a particular context depending on the type of devices and the approach of the user that is associated with that particular devices. If you haven't configured your devices properly, if you have not done the manual configuration and make sure the required security level at a particular device, then it might be a chance for the attacker to attack onto you. Second thing that you can see that this pie chart is divided into three parts mainly. First is the user practice, which is constituting 26%, exploits are constituting 41%, and the malwares are taking 33% of the whole pie. Now the point is that when we say that just because of the user's mistake, you are getting into a trouble, then if we say then 26% chances are there. If there is an external attacker and you are not you can say that you are not bothered about or you are not knowledgeable enough about that particular thing, or doesn't matter what, but because of some outsider attacker, you are into trouble, then 41% chances are there. And if there is a kind of malware, means there is a dedicated program that was developed for launching an attack against you, then 33% chances are there of likewise situations. So point is that how you can make sure that you become less exposed to the possible threats out there. So in an IoT ecosystem, if you control your practices, means if you develop the safe user practices like putting strong password, developing the kind of regular update habits, etc. Additionally, if you just control your habits of overexposure, of using insecure platforms, of using some loose commands, etc., then you can secure the exploits based attacks also. So 26 plus 41, these many percentages you can save and you can become much more secure. Means there is a chances that means if in mathematical terms we say, then there is a probability that 67% chances of safe working are there, and only 33% chances are there that you might have attack because of some malware. But in terms of malware also, to get some sort of defense against them, you might install some sort of antivirus that also being updated at regular point of time. Additionally, you might install some of the local firewalls in your system. And if you are good in security, then you may consistently update the allow and the block rules. So point is that whenever you are using any sort of system or some sort of device that is going to be part of some random system, then you are supposed to take some of the basic precautions in terms of user practices, in terms of exploits. And though you don't have control over the malware, you can develop at least a basic security shield against the possible malwares. Now coming to the kind of different things, so the cryptojacking, phishing, passwords, these are the kind of related things. And you can see that 13% password related attacks are there. And out of these, the most fraction of this particular pie is because of simple reason, a very, very kind of stupid reason that we don't put a secure password. You might be wondering that nowadays most of the sites have made it compulsory that if you don't make a secure password, they are not allowing you to make the account. Why this situation has come? Because in earlier days, we don't used to see this sort of compulsion, but why it is in practice now? Because if some attack happened, then user obviously will curse the vendor that because of your platform only my device got captured. And later on, you might file a suit or etc. So the vendor comes in into a difficult position. That's why the vendors or the application providers themselves have taken the responsibility and have made it compulsory that at least 8 characters of password you have to use. You have to use one special character numeric, and so many other things that they have put in conditions. Now, if you have had the basic responsibility of using a secure password, then you might have done that already. Additionally, it is not like this that just after getting into the threat only people do understand in advance also, but most of the people who are naive users, they don't understand the criticality of the digital platforms. That's why the vendors or the service providers have made it compulsory in terms of passwords. Coming to the malwares, the botnets, backdoor trojans, the ransomware, etc. are there, and ransomware are very much popular. Additionally, the bombs who replicate themselves very frequently like a literal bomb. And the backdoor trojans means which are not looking like a threat, but they are threat, and they are just a kind of trojan. And coming to the botnet, so there is a dedicated army of bots, means the malicious nodes. And coming to the ransomware, so there are some malicious programs which might be capturing the control of your files or the device, and then they are going to ask for some sort of ransom. So these are the possible things. Coming to the exploits, so you might be a victim of network scan, means somebody is regularly monitoring your activities over the network and you are not aware of it. Additionally, one important thing in network scan, you might be wondering that I have used encryption, so who is going to take care of my content? I'm the sole controller of my content because I have took the sufficient encryption in my site and the regular activities. But the point is, not only the encryption is sufficient, because just by monitoring your activities, for example, you are using internet just for 2 hours in 24 hours. So out of those 2 hours only, how much content you are sending to a particular site, or which particular port you are using, and kind of things. So the analyst, it means hackers, usually they are the smart guys, and they do understand that what sort of activities or the sites you are trying to access, and later on they may again blackmail you according to the type of activity that you are performing. Secondly, coming to the remote code execution, so somebody might inject some sort of code into your code, and then it might be a problem for you. Similar sort of command injection is there where the code is not injected, but there is an injection of some specific commands. Buffer overflow is a kind of command where the buffer is filled and still the code is getting overflowed, and it might be an issue because the sufficient code that is required to get executed is not getting executed. Then there might be some other reasons, including the Sql injections, zero-day attacks, means which the attacks about which you don't have any knowledge. That's why called zero-day attack. And Sql injection is very popular with respect to the web access, and specifically when you are performing some sort of query over the servers, then these sort of attacks do come into picture. So using wildcard characters, the Sql injection attacks are performed mostly. So you need to be very much careful with the wild characters usage. And if you are very much confident in your queries, then only you should go for the kind of query executions. So this is some of the basic analysis from my side towards the possible threats in IoT devices, and not only in IoT devices. I am taking the use case of IoT devices because this is the resource constrained use case, and this particular use case is going to get a reality very soon, and almost every person is going to have 6 to 8 IoT, means the low power and the low processing capacities devices in future. So that's why these are the things that you should have in your mind, and definitely your devices will become more secure if you take care of all these basic precautions. So that's all from my side. If you don't like anything, please do let me know, and do criticize the video through your comments. We'll try to incorporate all your comments in future, and we'll try to provide a better analysis. Thanks for watching this particular video. Thanks again. Happy learning.